Alright, so the major patch is finally here, and let me tell you what, it's a big one. Look at all of these glorious changes to A-Life, AI improvements, balance adjustments, crash fixes, so much stuff going on here, we have got to go over all of it together. So let's do this. And also, check this out right here. And you guys know me, I'm always on the lookout for the next big, creepy but handcrafted open world game. Well, I can safely say I think it is easily Dying Light the Beast, an entirely new standalone game set in the Dying Light universe in an all-new handcrafted open-world destination known as Castor Woods. And let me tell you what, this open world here looks impressive with foggy swamps, dark forests, a full-blown weather system, day-night cycle, and even tourist towns where you'll be meeting all sorts of survivors and factions as you go. Now you play as Kyle Crane, and after enduring years of brutal experimentation, it's time to set yourself free, unleashing beast-like powers on all those that hurt you for the past 13 years. And your main target is Baron, a brilliant but crazed scientist who turned you into the monster you are today. But this is a cursed gift. A curse in the sense that you are, yes, a monster, always on the brink of losing control, and a gift in the sense that you have access to incredible parkour abilities and vicious powers, all thanks to your intertwined zombie-human DNA. And although previous Dying Light games focused on melee weapons, and that is still true, you can go that route, this time players are encouraged to embrace a wide variety of weapons in their arsenal. You will definitely need them, as the nighttime here is as deadly as ever. And now I can see why this game has over 1 million wishlists within just 10 weeks. So join me right now and wishlist the game by following the link in the description below. Dying Light the Beast will also be releasing in summer 2025 on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox, so check it out. So we're going to start from the very beginning here and see what they have to say. It says, Major Patch 1.1 is here. They go on to apologize that the size of the patch is huge. We're just glad that they are fixing the game. So kudos to the dev team for working so hard on this. So we got A-Life fixes. It says fix issue with spawning NPCs behind the player's back. So that's going to be really nice. I told you guys that I would expect that to be in this update, and yes, it is here. Players can now encounter roaming NPCs across the zone more often as well. Greatly extended the distance at which A-Life NPCs are visible to the player as well. And they fixed the aggressive optimization issue that prevented A-Life NPCs to exist in offline outside of the player's visualization range. Now in offline mode, A-Life will continue to advance towards their goals over time, and players may now have opportunities to encounter A-Life NPCs they previously met by following in the same direction as the NPC. So that persistence, that's the important thing with A-Life 2.0. That's what a lot of you guys wanted. It seems like it is slowly being brought back to life, so to speak, here through this update. All right, let's keep going, shall we? So we have improved A-Life NPC navigation in offline mode using what's called Game Graph, which is global AI navigation map. They fixed multiple issues where NPCs would fail to follow or find a path in their designated goals, and they fixed several issues with NPCs being stuck in online-offline transition state. I cannot wait to try this out for myself. Right now, the game is currently updating. It is a very big download, but I want to do like kind of a review for you guys, but I can't wait to see this working. Next up, we also have enhanced A-Life NPCs motivation to expand territory and actively attack enemies and mutants. Sweet. They also address an issue that could result in fewer A-Life NPCs encounters than intended. So the game world should actually feel more lively. I know a lot of you guys felt like previously felt very empty, but now you're going to be running into, I guess, more NPCs and A-Life NPCs in particular. Shouldn't feel too overcrowded, though, of course. You still want that lonely feeling since this is the zone, but this is very cool to know. All right, we also have further contextual actions improvements to ensure seamless transitions between offline and online states for NPCs engaged in these actions. Now, the groups exploring the zone are now more diverse regarding possible factions and group sizes. They also address an issue that while roaming over the zone, human NPCs didn't satisfy their communication needs and talks. So yeah, it's going to be really cool. And we also have more AI improvements beyond just, of course, A-Life. So let's find out what has been updated together. Obviously, as you can see, there are a ton of changes to the AI, but the most notable one that I can pick out here that is super important is this one right here. Fix an issue where NPCs quickly detected the player when he was crouching. This is actually a change to, I suppose you would say, like the stealth system. One of the biggest complaints with the stealth system was that NPCs and enemies were seeing the player way too quickly. Even if you were in bushes, brush, what have you, they would just be able to identify you despite you being clearly in cover. So this is by far one of the bigger adjustments and should make stealth play a lot more viable for you guys that do want to play more stealthy. And beyond that, they did reduce the number of summons and increase time between spawns of pseudo dog phantoms. So that's going to be a really nice change there. An annoying thing that would happen is NPCs would enter doors without opening them. This is going to be no longer the case. And some AI improvements to the Chimera and controller as well. And they did note some minor improvements to some combat updates, in particular when it comes to NPCs taking cover in combat. But beyond just combat, they also did improve some of the interactions with NPCs that are more peaceful. We'll have to find out what that means exactly as well, but I'm curious. And they do note a bunch of visual errors and bugs as well they did address when combating some of these mutants as well. We also have to take a look at, yes, the balance adjustments here. So they increased rewards for several missions. I wish they kind of would tell us which ones, but that's what we have to go with. They also address issue when artifacts with physical protection effect give maximum possible effect. They changed goldfish artifact value to 14,000 coupons. They address an issue when player is able to have infinite coupons by selling and returning back any stackable consumable. That sounds like an exploit that was addressed. They also addressed infinite money exploit. Yeah, another exploit there, with splitting a stack of weapons from selling windows, so it's no longer there. And they address an issue when A-Life NPCs can be spawned dead with full clips of ammo, and increase Snork's abilities cooldown time by 30%, so that's noteworthy. Gauss rifle damage was also increased. They increased the difficulty for the fight with, they have that blanked out, I'm not going to reveal that. They recalculated rewards for the Harpies missions. They fixed an instant player death after getting almost full radiation bar. They addressed the issue with the Poltergeist and the Burr that did not deal damage with thrown object in some cases. So you've been warned, and they removed the POS 8x scope from the assortment of several merchants and tweaked damage from the side field. So yeah, and there's 10 more minor fixes there, but it's cool to note that the Gauss rifle has been buffed there, so it's going to make it more impactful. We'll have to get in there and see if we can find out how much of an improvement that this actually is, but yeah, it's noteworthy that that has been improved. And yes, a lot of you guys will celebrate about these improvements right here: crash fixes, performance, and optimization. Check it out. Investigated and applied further improvements to dead zones and curves for gamepad movement, aiming, and camera controls for a more smooth and controllable experience using sticks on controller. I know a lot of you guys have previously been like, Robbie, what is going on with controller improvements, the dead zone, all that stuff. So yes, this should hopefully be improved big time with this update. And then also performance improvements in largely populated areas of the map. So that's fantastic. They also fixed performance drops on NVIDIA RTX 3000 series video cards with enabled FSR frame generation. So the game should hopefully, cross our fingers, run smoothly or at least better on those 30 series cards. And then they address an issue where the game freezes on exiting a tunnel during a light in the end of tunnel mission. I know some of you guys have asked about that. Yeah, there's a bunch of other more specific changes in here as well. You can pause the screen to read it over yourself, but visual artifacts have also been addressed in the game UI with DLS enabled. So less bugs overall and artifacts in the game UI. And they have overall like 200 other crashes that were investigated and further fixes were implemented. So a lot of fixes, minor stuff that should really help improve the game. But, you know, they also improved cutscenes, you know, multiple improvements to facial animations and voiceover for both languages in several cutscenes. Missing frame issues have been fixed, missing NPCs as well. Yeah, and just overall some nice changes here. They also addressed that annoying issue with the wishful thinking mission. They also addressed this annoying issue with interactable lootable crates where they would not interact correctly whatsoever. Maybe they were bouncing around. That is no longer going to be the case. And we got to talk about climbing ladders. There were some issues around that, especially when descending. That has been adjusted and fixed. And there were some other weird issues with consumables and healing that they did address. For example, the healing animation would be going off when you didn't actually prompt it to, and some consumables would just not be interactable. So all this has been fixed. A lot of minor improvements just making the game better and better. And the next part of the patch notes read like a top secret document, as you can see right here. Some issues have been addressed when it comes to main storylines, and of course they did mention previously that they would be fixing those progression blockers. That seems like it has been the case here, but I will leave the patch notes in the description below if you do want to reveal exactly what they changed there. And that also extends to the side missions and open world encounters. Some fixes to the arena battles and fights here. And yes, they did fix the ward technician reputation, and over 100 more bug fixes when it comes to those open world and side mission encounters. And we have some noteworthy changes to when exploring the open world direction, exploration, and zone experience. So they did some adjustments to the lightning ball that sometimes got stuck. This is a big one. Sometimes artifacts did not appear in arc anomalies. That has been adjusted. Improved dead body physics. Again, this doesn't sound like major updates, but overall, it really does come together nicely. Also fixed that issue when players' equipment was damaged while player was crouching in Razor. But they also made some weather improvements. Check it out. Sharp weather changes present at 4:30 in the morning time and 23:59 at night time. That has been adjusted to make that more smooth. And they adjusted that the Wandering Lights anomaly doesn't always spawn its artifact. And the Bulba Arc anomaly sometimes not appearing has also been adjusted. And there's also been some weird anomalies, I guess you would say, when it comes to looting corpses that just would not work. They did actually adjust this as well. And cloth animations have also been improved for NPCs. And there were a bunch of other improvements within the open world direction and exploration and zone experience. And again, you could pause the screen here if you want to read those for yourself or check out the patch notes in the description below. But that's not all. We have new adjustments to player gear and player state. And the big ones being fix an issue that helmets don't have psi and rad protection, but also fix an issue with armor's SSP 100 Discovery and SSP 99 Ecologist have no psi protection. So as you can clearly see, helmets have become more useful, and these particular armors as well. And there's been some very annoying issues with installing lead container upgrades on the PSZ-5V Guardian of Freedom suit that has been finally fixed. Smoke was also made less intense at shots from a weapon with a silencer. But there's also some really cool changes here as well. Fixed bullet visibility in magazine during reload, added splashing sound for bolts hitting the water surface, which is a little detail that's cool. They also fixed broken arm during magazine attachment to machine gun. There's just an issue where empty shells were ejected instead of bullets when unloading after ammo type was changed. So these are like small, minor, nuanced details that they're really focusing up on, which I love. They improve interruption for animation sequences with weapon reload and consumable items usage. They fix an issue with bolt impact sound missing during long distance throws. And they also fix minor issues around the rifle scope's appearance as well. And they did mess around and adjust items not being consumed when using via quick slot hotkeys. So that should alleviate some of those frustrations using hotkeys. And they did address an issue where the main weapon upgrades were applied to installed under barrel modules. And they did address some minor animations for jammed weapons because they weren't working correctly. And they also addressed an issue where the player was able to equip the detector with the primary weapon simultaneously, and a bunch of other cool stuff there. They also adjusted player guidance in game setting and menus. They updated some of the tutorials. And I know a lot of you guys had that weird issue where new weapons would appear in your hand or inventory just out of the blue. So they did comment here saying this. They fixed an issue where the player would approach a mission location and new weapons would randomly spawn and equip in hand. So that has been fixed for the most part, it seems. They also enabled upgrades for, guess what, the X7 suit. And they did some improvements to trading. So they did address an issue where the player is unable to swap compared weapons positions while trading. And a big one here, they added the possibility to revert detachment of pre-installed modules in the upgrade menu, and added unique markers for mutants with electro collars, and reworked UI of system notifications for received items as well. But they also removed the ability to trade with NPCs at Noontide Base. I'm wondering how you guys feel about that one. And they reworked the PDA's look as well. Curious to see what that one looks like. And there was an issue with the SSP 100 Discovery armor. It couldn't be upgraded by any technician. That is no longer the case. And some overall fixes with technicians not being able to install certain armor upgrades as well. And a lot of you guys were wondering, hey, are they going to actually fix those achievement problems? Yes, it says fix the issue where the 4 wins achievement cannot be received, and the issue when bingo achievement cannot be received either. And yes, they addressed the issue when players were unable to unlock achievements in the Epic Games Store. And some more adjustments for saves, other improvements, and over 500 fixes, damn, to foliage, texture flickering, and much more. So again, I can only give my compliments to the dev team for working what seems to be overtime to get these fixes in place in this game, because I know if you're like me, you probably love this game and you want to see it improve and keep improving year over year. And it gets me hyped also for whatever they plan for expansions and DLC, getting this game in shape for that sort of thing. So overall, yeah, this was a fantastic patch. Some great improvements here. Let me know what you guys make of some of the other things in the patch as well. All right, so thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned here for more news and updates about all things Stalker 2, and I will see you all next time. Take care.